welcome to your mat. My name is Abigail, for those of you who are new to me. This is a Foundations Level 1 class, and today the plan is to work in the lateral plane, the lateral sheath, so I will guide you through kind of a progressive sequence today to open the sides of the body. The outermost layer of the body is really how it's referred to in the yoga tradition. And we want to not only open those spaces, but we also want to strengthen them. And with that today, some toys or props that you might need are as follows. So strap. This is actually a yoga strap, but you could use a dog leash, you could use a stretchy sock, maybe a belt from your closet. So you may want that. If you have yoga blocks or something that would function similarly, a stack of books, something somewhat sturdy that could bring the floor a little bit closer to you. And then a blanket or some sort of cushion for padding. We have some knee down work today. So if your knees are really sensitive and it's uncomfortable for you to be in that position, you may want some padding. So today's class, we're actually starting with seated, which is kind of a miracle in my classes. I normally start on my back. But we're gonna start in the Paragasana. So once you've got your props, I'd like for you to sit on a blanket or a pretty sturdy pillow if that's what you've chosen for your prop today. And the Paragasana shape is the soles of the feet together and the knees open wide to the side. So you'll sit right on those sitting bones on your prop. If it doesn't feel high enough, you can create more stack of blankets or pillows for a taller seat. And then bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees open wide to the side. And any amount, walk your heels either closer to your groin or further away from your groin. So the intensity of that is going to be totally up to you. The closer to the groin, it's probably going to be more intense. So wherever you're at in your seat, just take a moment to hold the ankles and lift up through the sides of your waist. And we're just going to pause here in this first seated posture. So there's a chance already that your inner thighs are talking to you with this shape. So if that's true and it's painful, another good place for props would be outside of the knees to give a little support there. If it feels okay to let the knees hang in space, you might feel discomfort but not pain. We'll see if we can hang here as we drop into our practice. So Paragasana seat, the bound angle pose, relax your inner thighs as best you can. And from the root of your sitting bones, lift up through the crown of your head. Soften your eyes, soften your jaw, soften your tongue. And per usual, we take some time to really drop into the breath, to drop into the practice. So in your seat here, find the natural rhythm of your breath. Just notice inhale and exhale. What's your breath like today? Maybe with each inhale, you can get a little bit taller through the sides of your waist, through the crown of your head. As you exhale, maybe you find a little more release, a little more letting go of the breath. And keep your jaw really soft, your tongue really soft. And then we'll stay upright here for just a few more rounds of breath. And I would invite you to start to deepen the breath just a little bit. So with your next inhale, take in a little bit more air, maybe just like 5% capacity. And then as you exhale, let go a little bit more. Notice if you have the urge to fidget. That's definitely common, and we do our best, right? So we just stay on the breath, and trying to keep our attention there, face soft. And then you can stay upright here, and I encourage you to keep your eyes closed, and stay if you you would like to stay lifted, or to create a little more stretch in our pose, you may lean forward a little bit. So I'm gonna bring my gaze towards my toes. I'm gonna hinge at my hips just a little, so not much, pretty subtle. And my inhale is still gonna emphasize the length of my spine, and the exhale is gonna maybe create a little more hinge as I fold forward. Continue to breathe deep and breathe wide, and just begin to activate your feet. So press the soles of your feet together just a little bit. That'll turn on our inner thighs as we activate a little bit and stretch at the same time. So maybe at this point you can release your fingertips to the floor, and maybe your elbows are bent a little. You only go as far as you can, right? So just slow folding into our shape, our first pose here. Press the feet together, lift your navel up away from the floor. And our last piece here is just a visual, maybe an actual thing you can apply today with a horizontal breath. So as you inhale, I'd like for you to think about breathing not only in and down, into your heart, into your belly, into your lungs, but wide to the sides like you had gills. And then as you exhale, your breath comes back to center midline and moves up and out. And so we keep the side waist really long as we hinge a little more, or stay if you found your depth of pose. And with this visual, see if you could breathe into the sides of your waist. I'm not going to know if that's actually happening, but I'd like for you to try. And see if we can expand our capacity for breath. I like one of my teacher's analogies of that it's like breathing as if you had gills. Just for an hour, we'll be a fish. Breathe deep, breathe wide. Let's take our last 2-3 breaths here. Maybe you can hinge a little more. Maybe you're at your max. Keep your eyes soft, your jaw soft. Bottom of your next breath or so, make a slow exit. So if you folded forward any amount, walk your hands back, lift your spine up, and then open your eyes and bring the sight back to the pose. So we'll stay in Paragasana here. So activate your feet. Let's bring a little bit more effort into our pose. Really push the feet together to widen the knees more. And then bring your right hand outside of your right hip. You'll put your fingertips on the floor and inhale, lift your left arm up. Get really long in the left side of your body. And as you exhale, side bend over to the right. So this is obviously our first side bend of the many to come. So take it easy, take it slow. Continue to push your feet together and reach actively through your left fingers. Make a nice arc with that left side body. And you want to pull your belly back and spin a little bit your right ribs to your left ribs. So there's an open twist component as well. Press your feet together, take another breath, breathe wide. Good, and then inhale to center and we'll switch. Left hand goes outside left hip, right arm straight up. Inhale, get long, exhale, find the side bend. So just a little bit of side bend in our Paragasana. Reach through your right fingers. Put some breath in your right lung. Pull your navel back. So notice if you fell forward in your belly, scoop your navel back so your torso stacks over your hips. And then breathe wide. Maybe roll your left ribs to your right ribs for a little more open twist. One more inhale here. Good, and then exhale, come to center, reach both arms up, long side waist. And then as you exhale from here, you're gonna take your arms behind you. I'm just gonna turn to the side here. Keep your Paragasana legs, and if you can, interlace your hands at the sacrum. If that is not possible, you could hold fingertips or rest the backs of your hands on the back of your pelvis. That will be fine as well. So whatever you've got, asking the arms to internally rotate here for a moment, or if you have the interlacing, squeeze the hands together. And then pull your navel back, press your feet together, and if you can, straighten your arms any amount. Squeeze the arm bones strong. If you can't interlace your hands, no worries. Keep your arms straight and do blade arms instead. You could still open the chest that way. Now, whatever you've got, squeeze your arms firm, push your feet together, lift up through the sides of your waist, pull your belly back. Nice. Release that shoulder opener, front chest opener. And you'll take your hands to your knees for just a moment. So from here, taking a little neck stretch for the sides of the neck, equally as important as the rest of the side bodies. So take a slow drop of your right ear to your right shoulder. Lengthen left side neck. You can gaze a little bit up. That may change the sensation across the left side ear. You could also gaze down towards your right collarbone. So really slow, really subtle, just rotate, head up, nose up. Maybe gaze down, stretch the left side of your neck. You may just feel the need to stay static. Breathe wide, like your left side neck had gills. Take another breath wherever you are. Good, and then slow back to center. Take a moment to lift your spine in the middle, and then exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Again, find some length across the right neck. Keep your jaw soft. And then you can explore the subtle effects of gazing up. Doesn't have to be big. Gazing down. Just gonna see what side, right neck space you can find. Maybe stay static if that feels better. Last breath or so, wherever you are. Breathe wide. And then inhale, back to center, lift up tall. Second set with our shoulder opener, and then we'll come out of our seat here. So interlace your hands again, maybe a different thumb on top. So still Baddha Konasana in your legs, press the soles of your feet together, open those inner thighs. Maybe your blade arms, maybe that's your chest opener. Whatever you've got, straighten your arms, lift them back, lift them up. Like your heart could touch whatever was in front of you, but pull your belly back. And then breathe really wide. Fill the side bodies with your breath. Last big breath cycle here. Press the soles of your feet together. Really nice, everybody. Release that. And then use your hands to help grab outside of the knees and bring the feet together, knees together. You can squeeze everything to the midline. Maybe wrap your arms around your shins. Give yourself a little hug and lift up. Great. From here, let's find a kneeling position. So this would be a good place for your blanket as well. So blanket, however you want to set up on your mat is fine. I'm going to turn the long ways, and I'm also going to grab my yoga blocks. So you're welcome to grab a tool that would serve as a yoga block. If you don't have something, don't worry, I'll give you a modification. So from this kneeling position, bring your knees about the distance of your hips and bring your hands to your hips and lift up tall. So long, long spine. You're gonna walk, or rather step, your right foot out to the right. So we're making a nice 90-degree angle. My right knee is over my right heel, and my left hip is over my left knee. So inhale, lift up here. As you find your extension in the right arm, make it a fist out to the right. So fist with the right hand, and put it outside of your right knee. Fist outside of right knee, and then turn on your outer right hip, your outer right glutes, and press your right knee into your fist. So that'll ask the outer right hip muscles to work. Those are often weak in many bodies, so press your knee back into your fist. Keep doing that. Inhale, lift your left arm. And then as you exhale, start to side bend over to the right. So now, this is a good place for a yoga block. I have my block outside of my right foot. If you don't have a prop, rest your right forearm to your right thigh. That also might just feel better if the floor feels too far. Reach through your left side body. Press your left hip to the left and put some breath in your left lung. It's a modification of Paragasana, the gate pose. Pull that navel back and then find a little spin of your chest from the right to the left. Use your right arm, if you've got the forearm, to press your right knee back, back, back. It's gonna wanna crash in towards the big toe. We don't want that, we want it to press back. Last breath. Good, reach up, come back to center, both hands to the hips. You can pause, both feet, or rather knees, kneeling. And then we'll take the second side. So make a 90-degree angle out to the left. My left knee is over my left heel, and to start, my right hip is over my right knee. Extend your left arm out like you're gonna reach for your left knee, but make a fist with your left hand, right hand to hip. Take your fist outside of your left knee and turn on your outer left hip. Press the outer left knee into your fist. So asking those external rotators, glutes to work. Press the knee back, 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 back. Take another breath here. Fire the outer left hip. Good, and then keep that. Inhale, right arm up, reach tall. Exhale, find your side bend. So again, block or some sort of tool outside of your left foot, or find left forearm to thigh. Reach your left ribs up to your right ribs as you roll open for a little twist. Press your right hip to the right, and then notice if your left knee started to fall in towards the big toe. Make it press back gently. Outer left hip works. Breathe wide into the right side body. Take one more breath here. Bottom of your next exhale, you'll pull yourself up. And we'll go back to the first side with one change here. So same thing, kneeling, but this time the right leg goes out to the side and it is straight this time. So a couple things with alignment. Check your right heel. We want it to run right into your left knee. And again, my left hip is stacked over my left knee. Hands to hips here. And take a peek at your right knee and your right toes. We want them to point up. And you may consider bending your right knee a little bit as well. That will protect any hamstring pull. And then roll your right leg out. So it's gonna wanna roll in, roll it out, and then re-straighten your leg if you can. Keep a bend if it pulls on the back of the thigh. Inhale, lift your left arm up. As you exhale, find a side bend over to the right. Now, you could stay with your right hand on your hip for sure. You could do right hand to block or a prop of some kind. You could also do right hand to shin, but don't put too much pressure there. We don't want to extend the knee further towards the earth than it needs to go. Now, once you find your shape, roll your chest open to the left. Press your left hip left, firm your right leg. Take a peek at those right toes. Do they still point up? If not, make them point up and maybe roll a little bit back. Take another breath here. Breathe into that left side body. Bottom of your breath, come to center. Nice job. Step your right foot in. Final side, final piece here with our Paragasana work. So left leg extends long to the left. Look down, check your alignment. Left heel lines up with right knee. Hands on your hips, and then let's organize that left thigh. So internal rotation is what the leg is gonna wanna do. We want to externally rotate the leg. Bend your left knee a little bit to be able to do that. Left toes point straight up. And then keep a bend in your left knee or super strong, firm the leg if that feels safe for your hamstrings. Inhale, lift your right arm up, get really tall. Exhale, find your side bend to the left. Keep your left hand on your hip or left hand on a prop outside of your left shin. Maybe a gentle rest of your left hand on your shin, but don't put too much pressure there. Roll your chest open to the right. Press your right hip to the right. Firm your left leg. Take a peek at those left toes. Make sure they still point up and maybe roll a little bit back. One more breath here. Spread wide through that right side body. And then slow rise. Come up. Nice work, everybody. From here, we'll find cat and cow. So you can keep your blanket, especially if your knees are sensitive, and we'll come to a tabletop position. So your knees will still be on your blanket, but you'll bring yourself forward so that your hands are right under your shoulders. Take a peek at your hands and spread really wide through your fingers. Your pointer fingers want to be parallel to one another, like they could make the number 11. And push down through all of your finger pads. Lift the center of each palm. So you're almost like suction cupping the mat. And then from here, with really strong hands, fingers, arms, drop your belly, lift your tail, lift your gaze for cow pose. Arch your spine. As you exhale, bring your chin to your chest, round your spine, scoop your tail in, puff the center of your back to the sky. Inhale, drop belly low, drop the chest, lift the gaze and the tailbone. Exhale, do the opposite, push. Navel to spine, chin to chest, round. Couple more times. Inhale for the cow pose, lift your heart. Exhale, really push with all 10 finger pads, arms strong, belly zips up. Let's do 3 more. Inhale is your lift. See if you could breathe wide into the sides of your body. Exhale, round cat pose. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tail scoops in, belly to spine. Relax the head in cat pose. Last one here, inhale. And exhale. Push, scoop, round. Nice. After that next round, you'll release back to a neutral spine here. And then we'll set up to come onto our side bodies. So you can move your blanket, take that to the side, and come down to your right side. Bring your strap with you. From here, we'll start with the right forearm parallel to the top short edge of your yoga mat and your knees bent. You could do a blanket if the outer right hip doesn't feel very cushioned here. You could slide that underneath if you'd like. But stack your legs. Take a look down at your legs. My right elbow is all the way in line until the tips of my knees. I'm actually going to walk my forearm in just a little bit more. And then squeeze your legs together, bend your knees so your shins go parallel to the other short edge of your mat. Spread your right fingers like you were doing tabletop pose. And then left hand to hip, here we go. Push with your right forearm. Maybe you get like a centimeter off of the earth. Maybe you can lift the whole underside of your right body. Stay right here if this is enough. There's a good chance that it is. Push with your right forearm. So stabilize the shoulder. Maybe lift your left arm straight up. Maybe lift your left arm up and over your left ear. Find some side body stretch. Notice if you collapsed in the hip on the right and the shoulder on the right, push down, push away from the earth. Lift that left outer hip a little higher. You might have a nice little cramp in your right side body, right abs here. One more breath. Nice. Lower down. You can relax on your right arm. Just stretch it forward. Lay your head down for a moment and just pause. All right, we got to do a second set. So come back here to forearm parallel. Right elbow right underneath my right shoulder. Spread your right fingers. And then take a peek again. We want to have right elbow in line with hips and tips of knees. Then the knees back behind you. Squeeze your legs together. So turn on your inner thighs a little bit. And then when you're ready, left hand to hip, push up any amount and hover. You could stay right here. This is legit for sure. If you're looking for the side body stretch as well, left arm up. Push down with right forearm. Find a left arm reach over your left side head. Squeeze your legs together, pull your belly back, breathe wide. Notice if your jaw and your face got a little cranky and crunchy, soften there. Take another breath. Bottom of your exhale, release. Take a breath as you extend right arm out long, rest the head, pause. All right, so we gotta do left side. I'm just gonna turn this direction here. You're welcome to just flip on your belly and do the other side. So same work, left forearm is our stability here. So left elbow right underneath left shoulder. Bend those knees and bring your left elbow in line with your hips and your knees. Shins are parallel now to the other short edge of my mat. Right hand to hips, spread left fingers. When you're ready, push with your left forearm to lift the underside left body. Squeeze your legs together, pull your belly back. Don't sink into your left shoulder. So you can keep your side body low, but push with this left arm for sure. Right arm up. Maybe right arm reaches up and over your right ear. Breathe. Pull your belly back. Put some breath into that right lung. Push a little more with your left forearm. Here's your last breath. You've got it. And then lower. side body down. If the stretch and extend feels good, you can reach your left arm forward, rest your head for a breath. All right, second set, and then we'll move on to something else here. So, left forearm parallel to short edge of mat. Spread your fingers, push down. Check your alignment. Line up your knees with your hips with your left elbow, right hand to hip. When you're ready, push, hover any amount, your left side body off the earth. Nice little engagement for these outer left abdominal muscles. Breathe deeply. And if you're looking for side bend, add the right arm, reach up and over. Squeeze your legs together, pull your belly back. Breathe wide into your right side body. You could look under that right armpit for a little more twist if you want. Last breath, push down with your left forearm. Slowly lower when your next breath lands. And then extend, left arm long, pause. Nice job. Check your breath. All right, we're coming back to the right side, but for not so much a strength move, more for a stretch move. So you'll come down onto your right side, and this time you're actually gonna lay on your right arm. So you're a nice long line on that right side body. Right arm is straight out. I'm gonna rest my head on my right bicep, and then I'm gonna take a look at my feet, and I wanna stack my legs. I want my hips to be all the way straight line down to my heels. And then make sure your strap is nearby. Put it in front of your belly. All right, from here, you'll lift up just a little, like you're gonna watch TV. I don't know why. That is always the way to describe this, but that's kind of a common thing. Rest your head in your right hand. And then from here, push out through your feet, like you're doing Tadasana or mountain standing pose, but you're on your side. And then push out more through your right foot. Lift your left foot like a foot off of your right inner thigh and hover. This will ask again the outer left hip to fire. I like my left fingertips in front of my belly so I can help myself balance. You'll realize real quickly how hard it is to be on our sides here, so firm your bottom leg especially. Like you're gonna slice your right pinky toes into the mat. That will help you stay stable. All right, one more breath. Can you lift the left outer ankle a little bit higher? Push out more through your left heel. Good, and then release. Soften the legs for a moment. Spread your toes. Make sure you've got a nice stack of your hips all the way down to your heels. And then from here, we find a little sideline work. So bend your left knee, and potentially for a low tree pose, put the left sole foot on your right inner calf. If that is too much, you could put it just outside on the floor. That might be too much as well. So just kind of play with that, maybe in front of the foot or behind. You could also keep it on the inner right ankle. If you have more range of motion, not on the knee, you're either gonna go above or below the knee, you can use your left hand to help you get this left foot up into the right inner thigh. Okay, so maybe that's where you go. That's like step 3 if you have the range of motion. If you don't, keep the left foot on the right inner calf, all right? So wherever you are, press down into the leg with your left sole foot and push out to the back of your mat with your right heel. And then find your left hand in a fist. Balance is gonna get tricky because you don't have your tool in front of you. Left hand in a fist, put it outside of your left knee and press your left knee back. That'll turn on your outer left hips more. Now, the tendency is gonna wanna be to roll back, so see if you can stay in the side plane. Press your left knee back more. Press your right heel away more. Take one more breath. As if it couldn't get any weirder, grab your strap from your tree pose. So whether you've got a low tree or a high tree, you'll release the tree and lasso your strap around your left leg. So my strap is around the ball mound of my left foot. Now, any amount, I'm gonna bring that foot into kind of a side lunge, my left knee toward my left shoulder. And I'm gonna start to push up any amount. So your hamstrings are gonna tell you real quickly how far you can go. Your strap will make your arm longer. Maybe you're way over here, totally okay. Firm your left leg wherever you're at and push up through your left heel. Now notice the tendency to roll forward or to roll back. So see if you could push more through your right foot, push up through your left heel, pull your belly back. Oh yeah, don't forget to breathe. Last breath. Nice job, everybody. Slow exit. Ditch your strap if you've got one. Bring your legs to stack and then release your head. Rest your head on your right arm. All right, let's do the other side. So you'll roll onto your left side. Keep your strap handy. And find your nice stack of your legs first. So now our left leg is going to have to do most of the work. Find your nice long line from hips to heels. Rest your head in your left arm. And take a peek at those legs. Like you're doing Tadasana, squeeze your legs together, push out through your heels. And then here you are with your hands in front of your belly. Our first move is strength to hover the leg. Lift the right leg up. My toes all still point the same direction of my belly, my navel. Just turning on the outer right hip, outer glutes here. Push through your left heel as well. Maybe lift your right leg a little bit higher. And breathe wide, breathe deep. Take another breath here. Good, and then relax for a moment, soften the leg back down. All right, from here, check again your alignment. Fire your left heel away from you and your left pinky toe down into the earth and find your tree variation. So maybe you bend the right knee and you put it on the left inner calf. Maybe it stays kind of on the foot. That's cool too. Or if you have the range of motion, you can use your right hand to help bring that right foot up into the left inner thigh. So again, tendency is going to want to be to fall forward or back. So see if you can stay right in this lateral plane like you're between two planes of glass. Press out through your left heel. Left leg is your strength here. Right hand in a fist with whatever tree you've got. Right hand comes behind your right knee. Press your right knee back. Ask your outer right glutes to work more. Breathe here. Press that right knee back. Last breath. Nice, and then from here we transition into a bent knee and we grab our strap. So strap goes around the ball mound of your right foot and your right knee kind of falls towards your right shoulder. Maybe this is where you stay. This is legit for sure. Press out through your left heel, firm that left leg. And then if you'd like to explore the hamstring stretch, you maybe extend your right leg to the sky. Hold the strap anywhere that serves you. Maybe you're further away. That's totally fine. Fire your left leg, pull your belly back. Notice if you rolled forward or you rolled back. Try to stay in your left lateral plane here. Breathe wide. Maybe press more through your right foot. Firm your right leg if possible. You've got one more breath here. Bottom of your exhale. Really nice, everybody. Release that. And please roll to your belly. From your belly here, just rest your head on your hands. Stack your hands and drop the skull. Take a big, wide breath here and check in. And then from here, we'll just open a little bit through the front of the chest, come up to the Sphinx Pose. So bring your arms to make the number 11. Stack your elbows right underneath your shoulders and untuck your toes so the tops of the feet are down on the mat. Press the tops of the feet down, lift your kneecaps to your thighs. So we're gonna turn on the back body a little bit. And then notice if you sunk or if you are sinking a little towards the earth, we wanna do the opposite. So push the shoulders, or the elbows, down, your forearms down to lift your chest. Notice if your belly is resting on the mat. Don't let it do that. Pull it back. Zip it back. Lift your heart. Let's take 2, 3 wide breaths here. Sphinx pose. Fire those legs. Kneecaps to thighs. Soft jaw, soft face. bottom of your next breath, you can release that action and bring your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, and if you can, practice pushing away from the mat to come to tabletop. Not really focusing on the upper body too much today in terms of pushing and chaturanga and plank pose, but that's good practice just anyways. Find tabletop position, please. We're not here for too long, but you could slide your blanket under your knees if you need. And spread your fingers wide. Make sure the pointer fingers are parallel to one another. For some bodies, that means that the hands need to be turned out a little bit. You may even also widen the distance between your hands. That may create more space for your shoulders. And then walk your knees back so that they're not underneath your hips. Tuck your toes. Push with your hands. Lift your knees, lift your hips, downward facing dog. All right, I'm gonna give you some time to just kind of play with your dog. So I like to kind of walk the dog, bend one knee, then the other, and just kind of wiggle it out a little bit. Relax your head, so your head is really easy, your gaze is toward your toes. All right, yogis, let's find a really strong dog, and I'd like for you to make it wide. So take up more space. Walk your hands as wide as your mat. My fingertips are even off my mat. And then walk your feet as wide as your mat as well. Now, if your hamstrings are really tight, bend your knees. Bend your knees a lot. If you can, maybe straighten your legs a little bit. Drop your heels back and down. Drop your head. You should shake your head yes and no once or twice to make sure your neck is soft. And then lift your navel up, stick your tail in the air, and push with your arms. Firm your arm bones, firm your legs as best you can. And let's see about that wide body breath in our dog here. Take 3 deep breaths. Keep your arms firm, your legs firm, but your breath really easy. Nice job. From your next exhale that lands, you can come back to normal distance dog. So shoulder distance in your hands, hip distance in your feet. Again, any amount of bend in your knees is fine here. Listen to those hamstrings. Drop the back of your skull. Zip your navel to your spine. Stick your tail slightly in the air. Let's take one more breath here. Good. From here, look to your hands. And as best you can, take a little stroll, feet to hands. So distance in your feet is hip distant or maybe wider. This is also a good place for a yoga block if the earth feels really far. Otherwise, you can bend your knees generously. Drop the back of your skull for Uttanasana. Soften the head, shake it yes, shake it no. And then from your forward fold here, if you can, fingertips to the floor. My knees are bent quite a bit. I just like fingertips to floor so I can push into something. Drop, drop, drop through the back of your skull. Lean your weight forward. And then as you push your fingertips into a prop or into the earth, see if you can straighten your legs any amount. Might not get too far. That's okay. To keep our hamstrings safe, I want you to imagine you could drag your heels back. They won't move, but like you could. Finding some isometric engagement in the backs of the legs as we stretch. You've got one more breath. Really nice work, everyone. Bend your knees generously, hands to hips. Super slow rise. Come to stand, Tadasana. Great. From here, come to the top of your mat on the short edge, and we'll head into a little bit of our lunging series. So hands to hips, please, and your feet will be hip distant. Look at your feet, spread your toes, and then firm down into the earth as you lift your kneecaps up. Find a nice tall spine, find your breath. From here, bend your knees just a little, put the weight in your right leg and send your left leg back for a lunge on the right. Now, in our lunge stance, we want right knee over right heel and a really strong left back leg. Hands can be on your hips here. Find some deep flexion in the front of your right thigh. And then notice if you're kind of splaying forward. We want to pull the navel back, stack up our head, heart, belly, right over pelvis. Now, hands to hips, hook your elbows back to get a little more opening in your chest. Take another really big breath here. Firm your left bun, your left heel, super strong. Good, and then when you're ready, you can sort of scoot the left foot in, launch forward. However you gotta get there, step the feet. Hip distant, take a breath. Bend your knees, let's do the other side. Weight goes to the left leg, right leg goes back for Anjaneyasana on the left side. Now, deep flexion in the left hip, super strong right back bun. Hands to the back of your pelvis, hook your elbows back, roll the fronts of your shoulders back. The tendency when we do that is for the low ribs to fall forward and the belly to splay, so zip your navel back. Sit a little deeper into that left hip, breathe wide, breathe deep. Let's take one more breath here. Good. Little launch forward, step feet, hip distant, find Tadasana, find your breath. Relax your arms for a moment, close your eyes, and check in. Notice if your jaw or your face is tight or crunchy. See if you can soften. Hands back to your hips, open your eyes if you close them. Let's do a second set. Right foot takes the weight, left foot steps back. All right, from here, firm your left bun, so my left leg is really strong. Deep bend in the right hip, right flexors of the hip rather. Right knee stacks over right heel. To start this time again, we'll bring hands to the low back pelvis. Hook your elbows together behind you, lift your chest. Pull your navel back. Good, keep your legs, but inhale, stretch your arms up for Anjaneyasana, high lunge. We'll add one more piece here. So in your lunge, you'll hold your left wrist with your right hand to make a little O overhead. With your right hand holding your left wrist, press up through the left palm. And then exhale as best you can, find a little side bend over to the right. Pull your belly back, stretch that right or left side lung. Put a little breath into that left side body. Good. Inhale, high lunge back to center. And then slowly you'll step the feet together. Tadasana. Whew. Find your breath. Last lungy shape here. Hands to hips, left leg takes the weight, right leg goes back. Find your good lunge. Left knee over left heel. Firm your back right leg. Hook the elbows back, roll the fronts of the shoulders back, pull your navel to your spine. Stay here for another breath, breathe wide. And then when you feel steady and stable, inhale, arms up. Anjaneyasana, reach actively through your fingertips. Soften the tops of your shoulders, soften your jaw. This time we grab the right wrist with the left hand, make your O overhead. Press up with your right palm, inhale. Stay in your lunge, but find a little bend over to the left. Lengthen from right wrist to right top of ankle. Pull your belly back, breathe wide. You've got it. Last breath here. And then inhale to center, high lunge. Step forward, soften both feet to the earth. Tadasana, check in. Relax your arms by your sides. All right, then we'll take the quarter turn for our last big effort here. So you'll want to face the long edge of your mat. And if you have yoga blocks, you may want those handy, or whatever prop will work similarly. In the center of your yoga mat, now facing one of the long edges, bring your big toes together, hands to hips, bend your knees, and step wide. So from here, super super wide stance. A good measure is your wingspan. So stretch your arms out. Make sure your wrists would dangle right above your outer ankles. And then bring your hands back to your hips. Now, left toes are going to turn in just a little. So my left pinky edge foot is parallel-ish to the back short edge of my mat. And then my right foot is going to turn, my right toes are going to face the short edge of the right side of my mat. I'm going to bend deeply into my right knee. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 pose. Now, back leg strong, push out through your left heel, and sink deeply into this right hip crease. Find your fist with your right hand, and put it outside of your right knee. Press your right knee into the fist. Press the right knee back. Turn on those outer right hip glute muscles. Take another breath here. Good, and then release that and stretch your arms wide. Find your wingspan, long fingertips, soft shoulders. Take a gaze over your right fingers, Warrior 2. Keep your left back leg really strong. Take a peek at that right knee. Did it start to crash in? If it did, nudge it to the right. Take one more breath. Good. Hands to hips, straighten right leg. We'll do the other side. You simply just switch your feet. So now my right toes turn in just a little. My right pinky edge side of foot is parallel to the back right of my mat. And my left toes are gonna face the short edge of the left side of my mat. I'm gonna bend into this left knee here. I didn't say this on the first side, but make sure your left heel would run into your right arch for that nice stance. You could step your back foot a little bit wider. That may create more space if you feel a little bit unsteady. All right, left hand in a fist, left hand outside left knee, press. Press the left knee back, firm the left outer hip. Keep your back leg really strong. Release that and find Warrior 2. Stretch your arms wide. Soften the tops of your shoulders. Breathe wide into the sides of your body. Take a little peek at that left knee. Nudge it left if it crashed in. Last breath. Good. Release, straighten left leg. Turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of your mat. And step your feet together. Tadasana. Relax your arms. Find your breath. All right, separate your feet hip distant this time for a little bit of standing balancing before our peak pose. So shift your weight over to your left leg. Bring your left palm to the left outer hip. We don't want to sink into the hip. We want to squeeze the hip in to the body. One of my teachers refers to this as like a corncob skewer. Imagine you could poke that into your outer left hip. And then externally rotate your right hip. So open your right knee to the right diagonal. Find your kickstand tree. Maybe you have the foot on the floor, the ankle on the left upper inner ankle. Maybe you find the calf for a little extra balance challenge. Or you go up above the knee. Whatever you do, go above or below the knee, not on the knee. Push down with your left foot. Push your right foot into your left inner leg, wherever it is, and hug your left outer hip in. Bring your hands to your heart if you feel steady. You could also use a wall here if you feel a little wobbly today. Your left leg is your tool. Push down through your left heel. From the root of your left leg, lift up through the sides of your waist. Breathe wide into those gills. Nudge your right knee a little bit more to the right and back. Last breath. Super skillful exit, release. Take a moment to shift or shake it out. Let's do the other side. Right leg is your root, your base. Hug this right outer hip into the body. Find your corncob skewer in the outer right hip. Externally rotate your left knee, so your left toes, your left knee points to the diagonal. Find your Vrikshasana on this side. Maybe you kickstand inside the right ankle. Maybe right inner calf, or if you have the range of motion, upper inner right thigh. Now, find your organization here. So root your right heel, lift your chest, pull your belly back. Press whatever you have, left sole of foot into the right leg, and then press the right leg back so there's some feedback there. Hands to heart if you feel steady. Nudge your left knee a little to the left and a little bit back. Soften your jaw, breathe wide. Last breath here. Really nice, everyone. Release. Shake it out a little bit. All right, we are ready for our big peak pose here for Untitled Trikonasana. So it's probably a yoga pose you've seen many, many times in all sorts of pictures. But we're going to break it down today. So still facing the long edge of your mat, bend your knees and step your feet wide. So again, we want to do a measure, wingspan, wrists would dangle right above the outer ankles. Bring your hands right back to your hips and turn your right toes to face the right short edge of your mat. Turn your left toes in just a little bit. Left back leg really strong. Look at those right toes. Make sure they point straight forward. And then bend your right knee just a little, so a little micro bend there. As the knee is bent, roll the thigh out. So we want to externally rotate that leg. So you want to sort of imagine that you could roll your right hip to the right and down and back. Then firm the right kneecap to the thigh. Now, try to keep your right knee pointing up the whole time. Bring your torso back to the lateral plane. Belly faces the side edge of your mat, long side. Arms wide, inhale. As you exhale, reach forward. Keep your legs straight and strong. And then drop your right hand to your right shin and your left arm straight up. Now, a couple of options here. A yoga block, I like it outside of my shin. That's going to bring the earth a little closer rather than crunching in my right side body. So use a block. You could rest on the shin if that is okay. You could also just bring your left hand to your hip if lifting the top arm is too much. If you're lifting the top arm, roll your chest to the left. You want to imagine that your left shoulder could stack on your right shoulder. And then firm your legs without moving your heels. See if you could squeeze your inner thighs. They won't actually go anywhere, but firm inner thighs together. Maybe if it feels okay on your neck, you rotate a little bit more, look up towards your left fingers. Breathe wide. Might feel a nice stretch across this left outer hip, left side body. Last breath. Really nice. Release that. Bend your right knee a little bit to come up. And we'll take the final side. So many things to think about in Trikonasana. Here we go. Turn your right toes in just a little bit, maybe like 45 degrees. And turn your left toes to face the short edge of your mat. Same thing that we did before. We really want to pay attention to this front leg. So purposely bend your left knee. And imagine you could roll the thigh out, down, and back. So we get this nice external rotation in the left leg. Once you've got that, push into the left foot and zip the left kneecap to the thigh. Keep that. Turn your torso, belly back to the long edge of your mat so you're in the lateral plane. Stretch your arms wide. Inhale. Exhale, reach to the left like you're going to touch the tip of your left toes and then drop your left arm down to maybe your shin, maybe to a prop of some kind. Right hand can stay on your hip for sure. Otherwise, right arm straight up as you start to roll your chest to the right. Imagine your right shoulder could stack on your left shoulder blade. Firm those legs. Put a little breath in the right lung. If it feels okay on your neck, you can look at your right hand. Without moving those legs, see if you could squeeze them together from your inner thighs to support your pose. One more breath. Really nice work, everyone. Release your top arm, bend your left leg. To rise, turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of your mat. Step your feet together, find Tadasana. Relax your arms, relax your eyes. As you close the visual field, feel the float on the feet. And check in with your jaw, check in with your breath. And then when you feel ready, to our backs here. So when you're ready, you'll lower to supine. And we'll take a few gentle counter poses before Savasana. So come down to a position that feels comfortable for you. And just take a moment to land here. You don't have to do anything just yet. Any supine position that's comfortable for you. I've got my knees bent and my arms overhead. You could do anything here for just a few breaths. And then from supine here, we'll take a little twist. So I like arms overhead. If that's too much on your shoulders, you could bring your arms down by your sides. But let your knees fall towards your chest. Bring your inner thighs together so your knees hug close. And then take that whole setup and drop your outer knee on the right to the right side of your mat for a little twist. Now, the closer the knees are to your right shoulder, the more intense the twist will be. So you may want to just bring your knees further down if it feels like too much. If you want a more intense twist, bring your knees closer to your right shoulder. And then for a little bit of opposition, you could gaze to your left. You can use your right hand to kind of weight down this outer left knee if you'd like. Breathe wide into the left lung. Take a few breaths here. And then when you're ready, don't let me rush you. You'll bring both knees back to center. And when you're ready, drop both knees to the left. So again, if the knees are really close to your left shoulder, it's going to be more intense. If you're looking to keep it mild, you could bring your knees further away from your left shoulder. If it feels okay on your neck, you could gaze to your right. Maybe weight that right outer thigh with your left hand. Take a few breaths here. And then when you feel satisfied on both sides, you can roll back to center. Release both feet to the floor for our final shape here. Bring the feet hip distant, walk your heels back so they're closer to your booty, and bring your arms down by your sides, palms face the earth. From here, press into your feet and just begin to lift up the front of your hips, fronts of your thighs for a low bridge pose. You could stay pretty low with this, pretty mild, just releasing through the hip flexors. We spent quite a bit of time in hip flexion today. If you're looking to find a little deeper shape, you could tuck, 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 tuck shoulders underneath you. Keep your palms to face the mat and push down, or interlace your hands underneath you. So lots of options. The level of intensity is your choice. Last pose here. Breathe wide, fronts of thighs, fronts of chest. And then don't let me rush you. You'll lower skillfully and find your setup for Savasana. So if you've got props around and you want to set up a comfy Savasana, please feel free. Lying supine with your legs long and your arms long is not exactly that comfortable. So feel free to customize. Use your props. Today I think I'm going to go feet wide. Wide as my mat and actually wider than my mat, and my arms overhead. So you're welcome to choose your final shape. Organize this pose just like you would any other pose. So find a small tuck of your chin to your chest. Find some length for the back of your neck. Relax the back of your body, let it be heavy towards the mat, towards the earth, and close your eyes. And then see about softening in the jaw, and the tongue, and the breath. And this final pose is our stilling, our resting shape. But a pose in which we don't nap, so we are here beginning to absorb and receive the effects of our physical practice, our physical asana. And we do so by keeping just a little bit of awareness on the breath. Enjoy your rest here. I'll guide you out in a few moments. So please begin to bring awareness back to a deeper breath. See if you could breathe wide into the sides of your body, into those gills that we worked so hard today. You're welcome to Savasana for much longer. I'd actually recommend that you do. Ideally, Savasana is like 7 minutes or so. The luxury of being at home during these times allows you to do that, so please feel free. If you'd like to close practice formally with me, bring a little movement to your head, rock the gaze side to side, bring a little movement to your fingers, to your toes. And then really slowly, when you feel ready, you'll bend your knees, feet on the floor, and roll off to one side. Fetal position. Take a wide horizontal breath on your side. Keep your eyes soft. And when you feel ready, you can use your top arm to press yourself up. See if you can keep your neck really soft, your head heavy, and your eyes closed as you rise to a seat. So you're welcome to sit in a position that's comfortable for you. And find some nice anchor in the sitting bones, and from that root, lift up tall through the sides of your waist. And close your eyes, soften your jaw. And just take a little inventory. How do you feel post lateral sheath practice? The quality of your breath, the quality of your thoughts, your awareness, and the quality of your physical body, any sensations that you may feel. Just allow yourself to receive whatever that is. And with no rush, we'll bring the hands to heart center and press your palms together. If you'd like, take a small bow, chin to chest. So may this practice of yoga provide us, of course, with physical benefits, in today's case, allowing us to open the sides of the body and strengthen the sides of the body. But more so, allowing us to really practice our ability to pay attention, our ability to cultivate awareness and curiosity for our breath, for our bodies, and for our thoughts, for our awareness. Thank you so much for joining me today. The light in me bows to the light in each of you. Namaste.